Welcome back to Royals Show. Today we are talking about Prince Harry's so-called serious error resurfacing, and how the Duke has revealed that his father, King Charles, is now his main focus. So make sure you subscribe to the channel for more updates and new videos. Prince Harry has recently signaled a renewed determination to reconcile with his father, King Charles III, after their first private meeting in more than 2 years. In a wide-ranging interview, the Duke of Sussex emphasized that he is prioritizing his father above all else, while also affirming that he is happy and content with his life in California, alongside Meghan and their children. But not everyone is convinced that Harry's latest moves are wise. Critics and royal experts have accused him of being desperate, and one in particular has argued that Harry committed a serious error earlier this year, which is now catching up with him. During the interview, published in The Guardian on Sunday, September 14th, Harry spoke openly about his recent reunion with his father and about his intentions for the year ahead. He stated, and I quote, "The focus really has to be on my dad. A clear hint that he wants to spend more time with King Charles, both personally and publicly." When pressed about whether he would like to bring his children, Prince Archie, now 6 years old, and Princess Lilibet, 4, to the United Kingdom, more often, Harry gave an optimistic answer. He said, "Yes, I would. This week has definitely brought that closer." These words suggest that he is warming to the idea of his children, forging stronger connections with their grandfather, something that could reshape family dynamics in the years to come. Even though Harry appears open to making more visits to Britain, he made it clear that he is not unhappy living abroad. "I think parts of the British press want to believe that I am miserable, but I'm not," he said confidently. "I am very happy with who I am, and I like the life that I live." This remark reflects Harry's determination to push back against the narrative that leaving the royal fold was a mistake. He continues to assert that he is content in Montecito, California, raising his family and pursuing his own projects. But according to royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams, Harry's desire to mend fences with his father must be seen against the backdrop of an earlier mistake, what Fitzwilliams described as a serious error. Back in May, after Harry lost his legal battle for automatic police protection in the UK, he gave a lengthy, emotional interview to the BBC. In that interview, Harry admitted he longed for reconciliation with his family, but also expressed grave concern about King Charles's health. He said, "I don't know how much longer my father has." He also claimed at the time that the king was refusing to speak with him. These comments generated significant backlash, with palace insiders and observers accusing Harry of being unnecessarily dramatic and insensitive. Fitzwilliams later remarked, "Harry made a serious error in giving an emotional half-hour interview to the BBC when he lost his case over automatic police protection." Now, months later, as Harry tries to reposition himself, the shadow of that interview still lingers. Fitzwilliams argued that Harry's latest gestures, including his unexpected trip to Ukraine right after meeting with his father, suggest that the prince is now taking advice from new advisors and adopting a new strategy. He implied that Harry is operating differently, listening more carefully, and trying to avoid some of the mistakes of the past. In his latest interview, Harry also defended his controversial memoir, Spare. He firmly rejected claims that the book was written out of anger or vengeance. Instead, he argued that it was about correcting the record and telling the truth. "I don't believe that I aired my dirty laundry in public," Harry explained. "It was a difficult message, but I did it in the best way possible. My conscience is clear," he went on to emphasize. "It is not about revenge, it is about accountability. You cannot have reconciliation before you have truth." These words reflect Harry's perspective that reconciliation within his family must be built on honesty, not denial. Released in early 2023, Spare caused shockwaves across the world, detailing personal rifts and family disputes inside the royal household. Among the most explosive revelations was the allegation that Prince William once physically assaulted him during a heated argument. Harry has stood by his decision to include such moments, insisting that it was necessary to counter false stories spread in the media over the years. Marking his 41st birthday on Monday, Harry even described the memoir as a series of corrections to stories already out there, downplaying the notion that it was an attack on his family. The timing of these remarks is important because they came just days after Harry and Charles shared an emotional reunion at Clarence House in London on Wednesday, September 10th. This was their first private meeting in more than 2 years. According to reports, the reunion was sparked earlier in the year when Harry sent his father a handwritten letter expressing his wish to repair their fractured relationship. That heartfelt gesture seems to have opened the door to what insiders described as a very personal and meaningful conversation. Harry, who had traveled from his home in Montecito to attend the Well Child Awards and also visit the Center for Blast Injury Studies at Imperial College London, met his father at Clarence House around 5:20 in the evening. Their meeting reportedly lasted just under an hour. What happened inside was private, but sources claim the conversation included updates about Harry's children, Archie and Lilibet, as well as discussions about King Charles's health. The reunion, according to those familiar with it, ended in hugs and even tears, suggesting a thawing of relations between father and son. Meanwhile, as Harry celebrated his 41st birthday, royal commentators speculated that his greatest wish is no longer personal projects or international ventures, but rather reconciliation with his family. Ian Pelham Turner, another royal watcher, went as far as to call Harry's recent efforts a well-structured charm offensive. He argued that Harry is working carefully to reintroduce himself to the British public as a figure of credibility, kindness, and warmth. Turner suggested that Harry is aiming to remind people of the values he holds most dear, and perhaps to rehabilitate his image in a country where his popularity has sharply declined in recent years. Interestingly, Turner also proposed that Harry may be hoping for a popular return to Britain, not just for himself, but also with Meghan and their 2 children. He speculated that such a return could rival the public enthusiasm once enjoyed by Prince William and Princess Kate. Whether that is realistic or not remains to be seen, but the idea itself shows the scale of Harry's ambitions. Turner concluded by saying, "The future of the monarchy, in my opinion, is reliant on unification. The royal brand must stay united now. Egos have to be put aside with much less secrecy and much more openness required." So where does all this leave us? On one hand, Harry appears genuinely moved by his meeting with King Charles and determined to focus on family ties. On the other hand, experts warn that past mistakes, including the BBC interview and his sometimes blunt honesty, may complicate his efforts. He's trying to balance his independent life in California with a longing to remain connected to his royal roots. He continues to defend his past choices, including his memoir, while simultaneously reaching out for reconciliation. What is clear is that the relationship between Harry and Charles is at a turning point. Their reunion after 2 years of distance was emotional, but whether it leads to lasting healing is something only time will tell. Harry's words, "The focus really has to be on my dad," may signal not just a shift in his own priorities, but also a possible shift in the future of the monarchy itself.